Hello and welcome each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCTcentre, and with me today is two lovely ladies, Morganne Rayne, spiritual consultant, gratefully providing access to high dimensional being. Morganne has been called healer of healers as a way to describe her unique spiritual tools she shares. Morgan is here to serve those who seek great understanding of their secret spiritual self, have the deep desire to integrate that consciousness in their 3D world. And with us today is Jeannie Rayne, licensed psychotherapist in state of Washington, working primarily with early childhood trauma, sexual abuse, and emotional neglect, helping clients empower themselves. Jeannie sees herself as lifetime student of growth. She continually takes classes to enhance her knowledge base. Please remember, if you or your family or friends are interested in personal therapy and healing, you can reach out to Morgan, Jeannie, or myself for private sessions. All contact details are in description below the video. If you like what I do, please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube and Rumble channels. Okay, hello. Two lovely ladies, how you doing?
I'm good.
I'm good too. Yeah.
Great.
It's
Um,
it's interesting over here. It's like spring here, really. I mean, my crocus, my tulip bulb, everything's popping. My garlic, everything's popping up, right? It's the middle of winter, but
yeah,
it's
we,
so
we've
warm
had,
here.
yeah, we've had a really mild winter
Yes,
um,
we have.
compared to the East Coast.
Yeah, compared to the East Coast, and the South.
Right.
South's getting it hard too. My sister's had lot of freezing weather, and we're just not getting that here. It's very interesting. So I mean, but it's beautiful, it's colorful. The forsythia's in bloom. I mean, everything's in bloom. So
Right. And for people who don't know, we're in the Northwest in Washington State.
yeah, we're typically at this time of the year we might have snow and very cold weather. We're
Right.
just not. So it's just really interesting how things change, right? How things how we get into these preconceived notions of how things are supposed to be, right? And then when it changes, well, are you curious about it, or where you go with it, right? Just like things in our lives when they change, where do we go with that? um, so we look at what, change is inevitable. It's just inevitable.
So at the moment, England is drowning.
With floods?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. That is raining every single day. There is no day when it's not raining. And it's
Mm.
not raining, just drizzling. We're talking about heavy rain.
Hmm. Yeah.
So lots of places are flooded.
Yep. Yeah, we had that here in the beginning of our winter. We had a lot of flooding, and I think I shared that with the people that down my hill was a river, and all of those places got really, they were drowned. They were, so but I look at that as opportunities to, how can I assist, how can, where can I go with that? So I think the best of humanity comes out when we have a tragedy like that. I just totally see people that I could judge as, being a certain way. They show up in kindness, and too bad it takes a tragedy, but whatever it takes. So yeah, Choi, about change. It's you know change changes can be scary for people. Um, they can, but they can also be exciting. So when we get to change, that means something new's coming, something different, a new way to think, a new way to be, a new way to experience. But people gets pretty stuck in the way they think it should be. And yeah, so let's welcome all these changes.
Yeah. I think, change is an opportunity. And I think if we, because we can get really complacent with our lives. And so change is a really good thing, because it keeps us awake and alive. And we can use it as an opportunity. And as long as we're awake and aware of what's happening and how we are in it, and how, we can change aspects of ourselves during these transitions of change.
Mm-hmm.
And let the old go, and start anew.
Change we must.
Yeah. And we're constantly changing, because as we grow, just like babies go through different phases of growth. And as humans, we don't think about it. We just think, okay, that's just babies going through that. But really, we're changing all the time, growing, and if we're aware of it, and if we're not growing, it's why aren't we growing? We have all these opportunities. Babies do it naturally, but our bodies change, but there's two ways to look at it. We could look at it as a decline, or an opportunity to fully get into ourselves and be the people that we want to be. So it's I just think change is a really good thing.
Yeah, I remember you bringing up a memory of when we were moving from the Seattle area down to San Diego. My kids were mad. Oh my God, they were so mad. And I had the privilege of having them in my car driving down. So, I needed to change. I needed to change. Speaking of change, that whole dynamic, because I really didn't want to drive all the way to San Diego with two very upset preteens. So while we were driving, I go, no one knows who you are there. You could be anyone you wanted to be. You could be anything you wanted to be. Well, so that actually invited interesting conversation from my kids, right? And it was really interesting because my daughter was just a total bookworm. She didn't care about friends. If she could be just locked in a room with a pile of books, that girl is happy. She's still like that, by the way. But that's the way she was. Like, she had a couple of friends, but they were not the most important things. Her books were her things, right? Well, she gets down there, and girl who locks herself in a room with a pile of books has now become Miss Popularity. Total shift. A total. I mean, I was reeling from the shift, because it's like you got your girl that's in this particular lane, and there's we get this expectation of how that is. It's like, oh no, she shifted, like whoosh, let's go this way, right? And it's like, now boys are in the picture. Now I want to, it's like, boy, did mom have to change? And so it's change is inevitable. And I love that when I said that I won't tell you about my son, because, he didn't want to change. He just wanted to stay attached to, I don't want to be here. I want to go back home. And it reflected in everything that he did, because he was getting in trouble. But here's this girl who goes, oh, I could be, right? It's like two different ways of having this new experience. When it was time for us when I made the decision to come back here, it was like, for him, it was like, thank God, it's about time, right? And her, it was like, then we had the opposite. She didn't want to leave it. She, she liked what was happening. And I said, well, you know what? You can continue that where you are. You can still have fun, and but it's a decision we make, right? It's just a decision we make on how to be. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So changes can either be for good or for not good, but that's just what we decide it is.
Right.
Same move, same mom, same reason why we had to go, you know, but diametrically opposed views on how you do that, right? So it's just interesting how we we get either stuck in wanting to remain the way we are. And I think that's all fear, actually. I think that stuckedness is fear.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like, the fear of not knowing how, or the fear of what if I look silly, or the fear, we got all kind. We could just make a whole laundry list of things we're afraid of.
Right. It's like the Course in Miracles. We can either be in fear or we can be in love. We're at choice. And, we can think of change as opportunities, like an adventure. What else is possible?
Right? One of my favorite ways to live my life. I'm actually in that right now because I'm going to be making a new quilt, right? A new baby quilt. We got a new baby coming into our family, and a surprise baby at that. I love those surprise babies, right? Where parents have decided, okay, talk about change. These parents never wanted a child, never, ever wanted to have a baby for their own reasons, and everybody gets to pick, right? Well, now they're like coming up into their 50s, and the universe picked for them. The universe picked, oh, I think we'll just send you a baby boy, right? So now they could have decided not to change their lifestyle, because that's a pretty sweet lifestyle they've been living, of traveling and being, when you don't have children, I think you're basically single, even though you're married, um, there was a decision to be made, and that meant their lives had to change, and that their lives would change, and that their lives were going to change forever if they made a particular decision, right? And so I think that, and I think that when we make these kinds of decisions, we're we're either ready for the change, or we struggle through the change. And what I see with them is they embraced the change.
Mm.
They embraced it. And in that, and if we embrace the change, then the change is so much fun, and things to look forward to. But if we fight that change, anybody here fight change before? Don't make me, no. But really, the change is usually for our good. So, so now I'm in design mode, and because I want to welcome this new life into our world with family heritage. Of course, I'm weaving in things from my mom, that she has left in her little material box, right? So this baby, who would be her great grandbaby, will get to experience the energy of my mother and its quilt that I'm making. And I love that. I love that I've become the family quilt maker.
That's
I didn't plan on that. That was never my goal in life. It just occurred, and I love it. It it's I tell a story every time I make a quilt. There's an energy in it, and I've made a bunch of quilts now, right? And they all have a story about the fabric, or or where I got that piece, or and that's what quilts are. They're just stories. They're stories locked in a time, and those stories are important in our lives.
Absolutely.
Oh, if we don't have our stories, then we don't know what to grow from. We don't know what to push up against or lean into, or yeah. So change is coming anyway. So I guess it's how you approach it. Yeah. Course in Miracles. Let's do today's reading, because this really, I think our reading today is all about who we are, right? Who we are as three women that have made a decision. See, we made a decision too. We had to change our lives and our schedules in order to do this, and we became committed in this. And I really believe that we were led by, as Grandma Mary would say, Great Spirit led us together, right? Great Spirit brought us together. And I believe that because I know that the three of us get a lot of good out of this, but the people who listen to this, um, it's for them too, right? And it's part of what we do is give of ourselves. We talk a lot about being of service to others, right? That's a really high way of living your beingness. As long as you're balanced and you're taking care of self too. Being of service to others is one of the greatest things we can be, in my estimation. Um, the greatest thing that we can do is be of loving service to others. So,
Dan, before you start, that's a great plug. That if anybody is listening and has any questions to ask us, feel free to ask us. We love to be of service to people.
We sure do. Yep.
And we have a lot of knowledge between the three of us, and it would be great if somebody would take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Please take advantage of us. Okay, so February 12th, that is today, right? Because sometimes I get my days mixed up. Okay, so February 12th, and the topic is salvation. Salvation of the world is our task.
I love that.
Oh, man. I love that you just said, I love that, right? Some people might look at that and go, oh, right? So, but it's true. Salvation of the world is our task. There is so much we fail to understand or handle perfectly each day, it seems, that we can't imagine how or why we're assigned to save the world. When understood in the principles of A Course in Miracles, we realize we can do whatever is expected of us. But let's review how this happens. All the different physical bodies present in this illusory world are here for the same reason. The ego split off from God in an instant of madness and made up this experience. Forever after, we have sought to blame one another for all the problems endured, always believing that if others would only do our will, all conflict would subside. But that's not salvation. And salvation is our task. Conflicts offer the path to salvation, however. I love that line. Conflicts offer the path to salvation. When a conflict occurs, recognize it as an invitation to look, but not really see. The process of not seeing it allows us to feel and appreciate a moment of peace rather than tension, and others are lovingly affected by our forgiving approach to conflict. Our contribution towards salvation is being made in this instance. So the affirmative for this is, if problems seem too big for me today, perhaps I have not sought the guidance of the Holy Spirit.
I love that.
Can you repeat the affirmation, please?
If problems seem too big for me today, perhaps I have not sought the guidance of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Why I love that is because it's telling us if we find ourselves in conflict, is to take a pause and like get the balcony view, because sometimes we take things so personally and we're reacting with the ego rather than awareness. And when we can take the balcony point of view, we can give it more compassion and understanding. And, how do we want to be in this? So it's all about taking a pause and really thinking, how do I want to be in this? And most of the times, I think we don't want to be in conflict, but our ego wants us to get it back at the other person. And so it's the taking the pause and thinking, do I really want to do this? Like, what's my end goal here? And usually it's not to hurt the person. I mean, we may want that in the moment because we could be angry, but it's the pause is looking at it long term. Like what are the consequences of going? So it's taking the balcony point of view and not like taking yourself out of it and thinking. So, and that, I mean, it says it perfectly here. So.
It really does, and I also love a little nugget you said in there about, when we are, it brought up hurt people.
Absolutely.
Mean people are mean to people, right? Because that's what they've learned. Hurt people because they're coming out of hurt. If we could stop, take that balcony view as you beautifully spoke of, take a breath, and this is the difference between reacting and response, because the reaction is just going to come from that hurt, right? It's going to, and the thing is, we want them to feel what we're feeling, right? The hurt. And that's what they will feel when we attack, when we react, because that is that is an attack when we react out of our hurt.
Right. And when we're in our ego.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if we can take that pause, take a breath, that breath is so powerful.
Right. And one other thing I want to say is the person who's attacking you is just living in fear.
Mm-hmm.
And so recognize the fear. If you can recognize the fear, you can calm them down. Because, I've had grown men yell at me, and as they're doing it, I could see them as little children having a temper tantrum.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm able to talk to them in a really calm voice, because they're reacting from something way back when that I may have triggered in them. And so it's really good to not take it personally. And it's really hard, but it's something, it's like a practice. We got to keep on practicing not to take things personally, that it's their stuff. And we don't have to react to their stuff. We can give them the missing experience that they haven't had by talking to them as you would talk to a little boy with like compassion and empathy.
Yeah.
and it would change their way of talking with you. Then you can have a conversation. But you can't have the conversation if you don't take that pause and see them, you know, as a younger self. Because the reality is nobody really wants to act that way.
No, every bad behavior is a cry for love.
Right, exactly.
Every one of them, every reaction is really just a cry for love.
Right. So think about when you give that pause and you treat them with empathy and compassion, like it changes everything.
Yeah, it does. It changes everything. And what first, it's going to change you. When you change, then what you see from your lens is going to see a different way. Different. You're going to see. Talk about then change, right? When we change our way of reacting or responding, that's a huge change in our lives. If we could take that precious moment, and that's a big change right there for people who are overreactive or reactive. If you could just stop, take that beautiful breath, gather in your peace if you can, right? And then from that place, move from that place. And even better, call in the Holy Spirit in that period of time. It's like I've been in situations where I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do because I didn't get a manual on what to do. But I can call on the Holy Spirit. I don't know how to do this, but I know you do. Show me. Help me. I'm here. I know you're here. Let's do this. Right? So that's how I talk to the Holy Spirit. So, and I think that's I'll go back to, remember my dream about Christos, the dog, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's just like that. It's always presence, always there. It moves in tandem. It's like that's what we need to develop, is the relationship. Talk about change. If you start developing a relationship with the Holy Spirit, your life changes, and it changes for the amazing, miraculous good. And I think some people don't believe it, so they discount it. I don't, but I know I'm a living testament to the work of what we've been doing here. Me being willing to lean into the Holy Spirit changed me forever, because I was an angry girl. And people can look at me and go, there's no way you were angry. You're so sweet. Oh, yeah, no, I was not. I was angry and vengeful and filled with thoughts of revenge.
So let me say this, if I can interrupt you for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So like Morganne, I have also been angry in my life, and I'm really angry. And what helped me, as it helped Morganne, was the Holy Spirit. And for a long time, I did not have a relationship with the Holy Spirit. And what helped me to have a relationship with the Holy Spirit is this book, The Heart of the Course in Miracles, because it's an easy read, and it's like it's like how to
leave it up, yeah, please. More. Yeah, you can keep talking. Don't worry. Just
okay.
wanted for everybody to show closer.
So it's a book that teaches you how to have a relationship with yourself and the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best books I've ever read And it changed my life. And as I know, it changed Morganne's as well. But and I'm saying this because we can say we can have a relationship with the Holy Spirit, but until we get something to really help us find that relationship, because I was born in a Catholic church, and we were always talking about Jesus and the Holy Spirit and everything, but I never knew how to connect until I read this book. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And we worked with those 12 principles in that book for several years, right? We took it apart.
Yeah. And Morganne has been our teacher through it all. And it's been really extremely helpful in my life. And I'm sure Dega's as well.
Yeah. I might have been teaching, but I tell you what, I was a student just as much as anybody, right? Because I'm always up for learning. I'm always up for change.
Yeah, me too.
Totally. It's because I know that change brings good. Change is expansive. Change, it's like changing is like going to a different country. You gotta learn you need to learn kind of the language. You learn about what they eat, right? When we change, we become different. We just become different humans, and that's beautiful. And I think we are meant to do that. And the thing is, with the Holy Spirit, that's an aspect of us. It's not like some alien entity out there that we ask to come inside of us. No, it's alive in us already. It's an aspect of our being. So and I know the last few decades, there's been a push away from the aspect of us as spiritual beings. There's been a push away from our soul self, right? It's been about our intelligence, and it's been about our physicality. Intelligence and physicality. Well, yeah, we got that too, but we're more than that. We have an aspect of our being that most people aren't using. And if we could use it, if we were taught to use it, we can get led and guided to what's good for us. And I love living this way. I can't imagine living any other way than the way I live now, in terms of, this is what's happening today. Show me how to be present in that. Show me, it's like, we need to ask, like our teacher is what's that Holy Spirit. That's our true teacher. That's our true teacher.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Salvation of the world is our task. That could be a daunting statement, right?
Right.
Like, it's all up to us. Well, really, the only thing we're changing is ourselves. The only thing we're changing is how we see things. The only thing we're changing is how we feel things.
Right. So think about this man who's yelling at me, a grown man yelling at me, and really angry. And, I knew it didn't have anything to do with me. So I was able to see him as a little boy having a temper tantrum, like he was just in fear. And to be able to, because I've worked on myself, and I was able to see him as a little boy and give him compassion and understanding, like giving him the missing experience that his family didn't give him.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to have a beautiful conversation after that. And we bonded in a way that we would never have if I was in my ego and giving him back what he was giving me. Mm-hmm. So it's so important to it's not about the other person. It's about continually working on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're working on ourselves to the day we die. All three of us. I know that because I know who we are. And that's how we can change the world one person at a time. Like every day, every encounter. we can, like you do, Morganne, and you've talked about here, where you give people joy just by your presence. But you're intentional about that. And so you're intentional about how you want to show up. And that's the thing is, being awake and aware, how are we showing up? And is that the way we want to show up? And if not, we change ourselves. We don't blame other people or, blame government or the world or, whatever. We have to take accountability for ourselves. Because no matter when we change ourselves, no matter what's happening in the world, we are at peace because we're at peace within ourselves. Everything has to happen within ourselves first. Otherwise, it just won't happen. So we have to love ourselves first. We have to make peace with ourselves first. We have to work on things that come up and that don't sit with us, and that annoy us and everything. We have to go in and excavate that and see, make peace with whatever's coming up. And if we don't know how, we seek help, because there's people out there that can help you.
Yep. And truly, that's our task at hand, right? Is healing one wound at a time. Being curious about one trigger at a time, being present for others when they are in their triggers, when they are in whatever they're in, right? Being present for them. And we have to be really settled within our own being to not be reactive to our clients, right? Because all they are doing is, well, one, we create a safe space for them for things to come forward. But if we're looking at that as something that's frightening, or, then don't help that person. Go work on your own stuff, right? It's
I was raised in a hostile family, and so it was when I was young, when I was a little girl, I really wanted peace in the world. But when I got with my family, it was I had to defend myself, and so I'd be fighting, and it was like, and it took me a long time to realize that I needed to have peace within myself first, before I could do anything. And now my family's still kind of hostile and stuff, but I don't go there with them. I can be talking with them, but I don't go there with them. They're raising their voice, they're angry, and I just stay in my peace. And I'm able to talk to them where they can hear me, because they're expecting me to match them, and it's like, so I feel like I'm being a little change agent in my family, that I'm not going there, and for me, it's like, I'm not allowing people's anger to change my peace. It's and I can see, because I'm at peace, that it's their stuff and not mine. I don't have to make it mine. I just, they're living in fear or anger, but I don't have to take that on. It's not mine.
They're also living in unmet needs. And part of our job is to find out what they really need. Because when people are, in a reactive state, you said it so beautifully about, we need to discover what this human needs. We can't do it if we're in reactivity. We can only do it if we are in a responsive nature where what else is possible?
With compassion and empathy.
Absolutely.
Knowing that they're in fear.
Exactly. And recognize that and be present for it, not with it, but for it, to ask the most beautiful questions, to discover what has been unmet in their lives, that maybe we have that to give to them. Maybe we can help them, move them in a direction to get what they need. And a lot of times what I notice too is people have lost their voices within structures like what you're talking about with your family structure. We lose our authentic voice because the voice that we use then is one of, maybe in your family, right, is that same, you have to match that that energy that's been kind of sealed in there. But I'll go back to what we say in Course in Miracles, that wherever we have incarnated, we have done that because we bring our issues forward, and it's the place where we can really heal our issues. So for you, peace is one of your, well, the lack of peace was the issue, right?
Mhm.
But you came with, no, we need to move towards peace. So that's your, and you can only get there by being in a family structure that didn't offer it, right?
Right.
It seems counterintuitive, but it's absolutely perfect.
Right.
So I know that I came here to be the presence of love. Well, how the hell could I do that if I was angry all the time? I couldn't.
Right.
All I could do was show up and be angry. So when we make these choices in our lives and we change, embrace that. I embraced being at peace. I embraced being love. I embraced it. It was a journey, let me tell you, because Angry Girl wanted to come up, but that's not alive in me anymore. It truly just isn't even alive in me anymore, which is, how beautiful is that, right? That
Absolutely.
I embraced the need to change first. The need to change was, what did I need? I needed to change. And I embraced that change. I didn't know what the journey would be with it. And look at me today,
Right.
I teach it now, right? And I think that when we're all teachers of it anyway, because when we show up changed, no matter what we do in our lives, then people will respond to that.
Yeah. And the beauty of that is what you said. You first had to admit that you needed to change. And I think that's the first step. It's like alcoholics have to admit that they're an alcoholic. You have to admit that you're an angerholic,
Mm-hmm.
and that you need to change. And until that happens, people are like, I'm not angry. I've literally, been with people, talking with people about
Mm-hmm.
their anger, and they're like, I'm not angry. And they're like really angry at me. And I was like, there it is.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And you have to admit it, right?
right.
That you have to admit that it's not working for you.
Right.
That anger was not working for me.
No, it wasn't working for me either.
No, nobody wants to be around you. Talk about the ultimate alienation technique, just be angry, and nobody wants to be around you.
Right. And then you're angry because no one wants to be around. It's like perpetuates itself.
It does. I mean, and that's the nature of it, right? It's
Right.
like, and it's like alcoholism. We get addicted to that feeling.
Absolutely.
We do. We get addicted to alienation. We get addicted to the feeling of anger. We get addicted to, we get
addicted to the drama of that.
Oh my God. Yeah. Because you feel alive.
Right. Right. Right.
Especially in dysfunction, when you grow up in dysfunction, that anger, one, you feel like you're justified because look at what they did to me. Look
Right.
at what you did to me. Look at You know what he did to me? Let me tell you all about it, right? And you get them enrolled in your anger, and now all of you are angry. It's like, no, let's let that be at peace. Let that, the past is the past. Some people can't help but drag that crap forward into your present, right? It's just like, no, I'm not going there. That's what happened way back then. Today's new, and I'm a different person, so change. I mean, we coming back to the whole idea about change. Change is inevitable. And if we can just be present to it rather than being hooked into what we wish was, or we thought was, or what we believed we needed. No, come back to you, to the Holy Spirit, to that place within you where you can grow and develop who you really are, that authentic you.
Right. And the thing we're not mentioning about the change too is when we work on changes, or, there was a saying my mom used to say, and I can't think of it now, but it was like, we can make all the plans we want, but like God's gonna, change whatever we plan, so it's
like, tell God your plan and watch God laugh.
Right. So it's about when change happens, there are opportunities to say, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I go with the flow of the change and be better than I was before? Regardless of what it is. Like, I broke my ribs a while back, and a couple months ago, and about a year ago, and I was out I was down.
Yes, you were.
but it was, it gave me time to pause and really reflect on my life and think, how do I want to live this life? And what do I want to change about myself? Because I took it as an opportunity, because I was so busy before that I didn't have time to really sit and reflect and think about things. And I really appreciated the time. I mean, I had to break 5 ribs at that time, but it was a blessing in disguise, because it changed who I was.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that story. It reminds me of that one where I broke my ankle over here in the midst of COVID, where I was people were pushing against me, right? Because of things how I am in the world, right? Because I couldn't get into the thread of the rhetoric. That's not it. No one ever got that. That's just not me. I'm a not of this and I'm not of that. I'm here. I'm present, right? And then, so change will happen. Change needs to happen sometimes. And how that change happened for here was I broke my ankle. And I remember the morning after, and I knew I had to get to Urge because it was ice and snow. I didn't go that night. So I knew I was going in the morning in the daylight to find out exactly what I did to myself. I'm standing in my kitchen and I'm yelling at God. It's like, I give you my life. I do, it's like, oh my God, I was so pathetic, right? It's like yelling at God, right? And then once I got a little bit quiet in the whole thing, it was, well, of course, how would they learn to love you? And, and that was the message that came through. And that's the beauty of having a relationship with the Holy Spirit. Then the Holy Spirit's voice can come through. And I realized that things were going to change for me here. And I watched it happen, right? It not just changed for me, it changed for others, because what happened was real love started showing up within people, not the judgments. Those fell away. and like we were saying, that people show up in those tragedies, right? They can show up and be good people. It's phenomenal how that works, right? How else are they going to learn to love you? Hmm. It's 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 the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay, but we are running away from our time for meditation, my favorite part of the show.
Well, let's get on it then.
Let's get on.
All righty. I'll get my feet on the floor because I'm going to start right there, everybody. Let's just get really basic. Let's get into our bodies. Hi, Daga. um, I want you to just really just check in with your body. Where are you? How's your body feeling? Are you relaxed? Is your body tense? Just check in. Become aware. This is self-awareness, physical awareness. Maybe you've got some tension. If you do, just take a breath into that area. So let's do that now. Recognize wherever you have any tension. Just recognize it. It could be your shoulders, your belly, your legs, your gut. And take a beautiful breath through your nose to where the tension is. And bring that life-giving oxygen right there. And on the out breath, release the tension. And wherever you were experiencing that tension, check in. Is it still there? Has it relaxed some? Is it gone? If it's still there, let's take another breath and bring that oxygen to that area. With me, take a breath. Gathering up all that tension in that breath, and on the out breath, release it. And this is a beautiful place of change, from tension to calm, from tension to peace. And now in that place of peace, let's bring a beautiful breath in, charged with life-giving energy, and bring that life-giving energy to the space where the tension once lived. Breath in. And breath out. And just be present to the space where the tension used to live and what's changed. Change is beautiful. Change can bring peace. And now bring your awareness to your feet, the bottom of your feet. Sense and feel your entire foot. Can you feel each toe on the ground or in your shoe? Can you feel the pads? Can you feel the heel? Notice what you feel on the bottom of your feet. Become aware, because this is a chakra point. And this awareness allows you to extend your energy like roots through your feet. And I invite you to do that now. Recognize there's energy root systems in your feet. You can see them like light or energy right there in your feet. And allow that light energy to like come out and anchor with Mother Earth. For you, it might be a floor, it might be the ground if you're blessed enough to be standing outside. It's important to do this because we're here on this planet in this 3D realm. It's important to be grounded. It's important to be connected to where we are because this is where we are. Breath in. I am here. Breath out. Relax. I am here, right here. And announce that to yourself. I am here. Take a breath in. Breath out. Fully relax into your presence in your body. And now with your awareness not on tension in your body anymore, and with your awareness of being grounded and present here, I invite you to turn your attention to your heart area. And just take some sweet breaths into your heart, awakening that heart area. And ask yourself the question, what is alive in me? Just be present to that question. What is alive in me? And if there's something that is alive in you that is bringing you peace, embrace it. Feel into it. Accept it. Appreciate it. If something is alive in you that is causing tension, is causing a state of non-peace or chaos or confusion, recognize it. Recognize it for what it is, a cry for love. And in that moment, allow yourself to be present and give love to that aspect of yourself that might be in confusion or in pain or in anger. Breath in. Allow yourself that peace. Breath out. Becoming self-aware is so important. And now imagine that you have met up with someone that maybe gives you a little bit of angst. Imagine that person in front of you and notice how you feel after doing our exercises this morning. Are you feeling at peace? Are you offering yourself love, compassion? And what is the energy that you direct to this one that has appeared before you? Can you offer them peace in this visualization? Can you offer them compassion? Can you recognize that all behaviors are a cry for love? Breath in and relax. And whoever appeared before you, thank that energy for bringing you to your awareness of who you are. And bring your attention back to your heart, wherein dwells the presence of the Holy Spirit. And I ask you now to call upon the presence of this Holy Spirit that is alive within you, the presence of love, the pure connection to Source Creator. And now allow the person that you let vanish away, ask them to come forward again in their energy. And from here, ask the Holy Spirit to guide you in your relationship with this one. And be present to that guidance. Be present fully and completely. And just notice how you are in the presence of this one with having the Holy Spirit direct you. Just notice. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Thank this person again for showing up to help you expand and grow, become more loving, more compassionate. It's our job. It's our task to bring the peace, to bring the love. It's our task to bring compassion. Not only to ourselves, but to one another. And so with these beautiful breaths we've been taking, with the opportunity to calm our body temples with peace and breath, with having ourselves very connected here to where we live in our bodies, to being connected to the Holy Spirit, I give thanks this day. As we move forward into our worlds, with our families, with our friends, with our coworkers, with just the people we meet on the street, and not just the people, the animals, those beautiful sentient life forms that come to greet us. All these relationships, every one of them are but reflections of our state of mind, our state of our emotions, our connection to the Holy Spirit is reflected back to us in all of our relationships. And for that, I am so grateful, for I am always being shown exactly where to grow, where to be at peace, where to bring more joy, where to be the presence of love. And so for all of these relationships, I give thanks. And I give thanks for that divine relationship that exists within me and exists within every being, the presence of the Holy Spirit. In gratitude, I just fully relax into it, allowing the Holy Spirit to guide my day, to guide my words, to guide my actions, and align me perfectly with Divine Source Creator. For that, I'm so grateful. And let it be, and I bless all of us as we do this great work in our world. And so it is.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whew. Jeannie, do you have something to say?
Thank you, Morganne, for that great meditation. And thank you, Dega, for organizing all this. And Thanks for everyone who's listening. It's really great to be here.
Thank you, everybody who is listening now and who will be listening. Please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube and Rumble channel so we can reach out many more people with this beautiful Morganne's wisdom and our energy together. Have a wonderful week and see you next week. God bless.